Hey guys, it's Rock the Golem, and as you can tell by the title of the video, I'm going to need some help for voice acting with some specific characters that I'm looking for. But before I get into that, I do want to give a quick update about what's going on with my channel. As you guys have probably noticed, the gameplay playthroughs have kind of slowed down a little bit, and there's a couple of good reasons for that. The first being that we've actually entered into our peak season at work. And not only have we entered our peak season, but we're also very short-handed. 3 of the guys I work with actually got promoted to other jobs, and I'm actually waiting about hearing from a promotion myself. But in the meantime, we're short-handed because of 2 people leaving the department, 1 person being advanced to a higher position. We have 1 new guy in who's still being trained, but he's only been there for a couple of weeks and doesn't know the job entirely. And we have a position that's completely open that we haven't even interviewed people for yet. So things have been spread very thin. So everything's gotten tied up focusing on work as opposed to focusing on my channel. I've mentioned before many times that YouTube is just kind of a hobby for me. I do have a job, obviously, outside of work. That is my primary source of income. So when life needs to be focused on work, that's exactly where my attention goes. And up through the month of September, that's where it's going to be. So things are going to be a little slow on here for a little while. I'm going to try to get out as much as I can, as often as I can. But there's not going to be any set schedule like I had before. Things will come out as I have them ready to give to you. I also want to mention that I am going to be collaborating with some other gamers as well. I know I mentioned before that I wanted to do it with the voice acting here on the channel, but now I'm going to be doing it with gameplay as well. The first one I'm going to be working with is a Let's Player that's known as Vipsy. I've never worked with her before, and we don't have anything like concrete planned out, but we have been talking about the possibility of going ahead and doing it. So I think if anyone's going to start it out, it's going to be her. I don't know, we'll see in the future. Anyway, let's get on to the voice acting stuff. So when I posted the open casting call, I got a tremendous amount of responses. And I'm not saying, it didn't get into the hundreds or anything, but I got a lot more than I expected to. And that's absolutely phenomenal. I've reached out to a couple of people. I've got multiple fan dubs running and ready to go. Well, not so much ready to go, but they're being worked on regularly, which is another reason why the gameplay has slowed down. I'm currently working on 5 different clips that I'm trying to fan dub all at one time. The problem is that I have many of the characters picked out, but not all of them. I still need help on a bunch of characters, and there's not one single one of these clips that is ready to be published until I can get those other characters filled. So in no particular order other than the list I've already typed out on my DeviantArt and my Facebook, here are the clips I'm working on, and here's what I need for each one. The first clip is actually going to be Ciel's death scene from Black Butler. It's at the end of the first season. It's basically the last 6 or 7 minutes of that episode. It takes place primarily as a conversation between Sebastian and Ciel, but there is a flashback that Ciel goes through where Tanaka and Earl Phantomhive, Ciel's father, are actually speaking to one another. So I need people to play Tanaka and Earl Phantomhive. For all these clips, I'm going to leave sample lines down in the description below. So when you have a chance to, if you want to audition for any of these roles, you can email me your takes and your auditions. If you want to make a video here on YouTube, you're more than welcome to. Something just as simple as an MP3 is really all that I need. As long as I can tell who you are, that's it. Next up is Princess Mononoke, which pretty much everybody probably knows. If you're a fan of anime, you've heard of the names Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli, so you probably know Princess Mononoke right off the bat. The scene I'm looking to fan dub is when we first meet Lord Akoto, when he actually comes up and meets Moro and San and Ashitaka is laying on the ground having just woken up with the demon mark still on his arm. What I need for this one is an Ashitaka, most especially. I've been looking around for probably the better part of a year for someone to play Ashitaka. There's never been an official, casting call or anything for him. This is really the first time I've actively put out that I need someone to play him. I've always kind of gone around to people that I've known, but no one seemed to really fit the bill for me. The other part is I may or may not need someone to play San. I'm still waiting to hear from someone definitively, but depending on how that goes, I may need someone to fill in. So I'm keeping this one open for right now, but please know that even if you do audition for San, there's no guarantee you're going to get it, because I do want to wait for this original person to, contact me and let me know that, yes, I'm going to be doing this. Yes, this is when I'm getting it done. And I'm trying to think of a deadline I want to put on that. What I try to do is I try to limit people to about 2 to 3 weeks to get their lines in. So I think that what I'm going to do is once I cast Ashitaka, I'll send out the script, I'll send out the video clip that they need, and I'll give them that same time frame to record their lines. And I think if by the time Ashitaka hasn't gotten their stuff in, that I will more than likely have to look for a new San. Not sure when that's going to be, because obviously I have to pick Ashitaka first. Having said that, those are the two parts I'm really looking for Princess Mononoke. Next up is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Now, I love Brotherhood a lot more than I like the original Full Metal Alchemist. I like them both. Brotherhood is so much better, though. The scene that I want to dub is actually going to be the death of Lust at the hands of Colonel Mustang. Now, this could go one of two ways, and it all really depends on which characters I can cast. The first one I need is Riza Hawkeye. I need someone to be able to convey that level of emotion, of, pain and anger, and be able to scream. And for you screamers out there, we got more coming up, so don't worry. If you're really good at conveying emotion, Riza Hawkeye is someone I definitely need you to fill in for. Now, the part that I said about how it could go, it depends. Another role that I'm looking for that I would like to fill would actually be Barry the Chopper. Because the way the scene begins, the way I'm cutting it at least, is it's going to pick up right after Lust walks away from Mustang and Havoc being essentially left for dead. So that will pick up with Riza and Alphonse catching up to Barry, standing over his human body, which is now rotted away and dead. So I would really love that scene to begin right at the point where Barry starts talking. But if I can't find someone to play Barry the Chopper, I'm obviously going to have to cut the scene up a little bit. And that will begin with Lust kind of talking with Alphonse and Hawkeye. The problem with that is I feel like it jumps in the scene too quickly. There's no smooth transition. There's like a little bit of context missing. And there is going to be some missing because I'm not dubbing the scene where Lust attacks Mustang and Havoc, which I may dub later on in the future. I don't know. I want to see how this one goes first. But as of right now, the two that I need are Riza Hawkeye and Barry the Chopper. And again, it depends on who I can find for Barry. If I can't find anyone who can pull it off, I can always cut the scene up and just use Riza. But Riza is an essential part of this clip. I need to have someone to play that character. So again, if you feel like you can fit her role, please audition. Next up is one of my favorites. Guys, this one is going to be phenomenal if we can pull it off. It's from Attack on Titan, and it's actually going to be the Levi squad attacking and dying against the female Titan in the middle of the forest. I have done a little bit of, creative editing so that it's limited to just the Levi squad, but that also includes Eren, and it also includes a flashback of Levi. So for Eren, obviously I want someone to they can fit the voice, but this scene is very, very emotional. There's a lot of whimpering, crying, screaming, groaning, moaning. That's in addition to all the emotion and pain and torment in everyone's voice. This scene I'm a little worried about when it comes to voice actors, and I've even written it in the script that I've handed out to people already for the other roles. Please do everything you can not to injure your voice. Keep water next to you. Take breaks. Take your time. I am looking for that kind of intensity that this scene requires, but not at the expense of you guys hurting yourselves. That's not what I'm here to try to accomplish. So please, do everything you can if you do want to audition for this part to convey the emotion and the screaming and the pain that is involved with it, but do not do anything to hurt your voice. The exception to this is Levi. He has one line in the whole thing. It's at his normal, monotone, cool, calm, collected voice. It's Eren that I'm really concerned with. So if you guys are going to audition for him, please take very special care of your voice. The last thing I need to hear is that you were injured trying to help me out and that now you have to hold back from doing other projects. That's not what I want. So please take special care with that. And last but certainly not least, I'm actually going to be dubbing a scene from Berserk Golden Age Arc 1. For those of you who know, Berserk is probably my favorite anime of all time. This one is probably going to be one of the lower energy scenes, except for the character that I'm looking for, which is Casca. It's a female role, just in case you couldn't tell by the name. And there is a little bit of yelling involved. It's more, angry, like scolding than anything. It's not like the screaming like you would hear from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood or from Attack on Titan. So this one is going to be not as intense, but I'm still looking for someone who can convey that anger and frustration that Casca has for Guts. In the past, I actually dubbed a scene from Berserk, and because I couldn't find someone to play Casca, I actually had to edit it so that it was my voice with the original voice actress that played Casca. I would like to avoid stuff like that as much as possible in the future. The reason being why I did it back then, it was because of a lack of resources, a lack of, people that I knew that can pull off the roles. And I really wasn't at the point where I could put out such a high quality that I felt like I actually deserved to put out a casting call to say to people, hey, be in this fan dub that's going to be awesome and professional, but it doesn't look or sound professional. I didn't feel like I was at that point back then. That was more practice and, a chance for me to really hone my abilities. And now I feel like I've gotten to that point, so I feel like I can put out these casting calls and actually know that when I tell people that if they decide to become a part of this, that they will have, a professionally produced clip that they can enjoy and watch and show to their friends and impress their friends, and maybe even get a couple people to say, hey, maybe you sound better than the people who originally did it. Not to say that any of these dubs are bad. I love them all. Like, every one of these series I'm a big fan of, which is why I want to fan dub them. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. So those are the roles that I need. There's going to be audition lines in the description down below. I'm actually going to what I'll do instead of actually posting the lines is I'll create a link to my Google Drive. I'll put some audition lines in there. I'll put links to the clips in case you guys want to, see what's going on and hear the original voice actors, the way they did it. As I've tried to say this in the past, I'm not looking for people to be copycats. Just because you don't sound like Eren from Attack on Titan or Riza Hawkeye from Full Metal Alchemist, that doesn't mean you're not going to get the part. I'm not looking for people to be copycats. I'm looking for people that can actually convey the emotion and the character itself. You can sound completely different, and that's fine with me. I'm just looking for someone that can do the job. I don't care what you sound like. Again, though, mic quality is going to be a huge issue. I'm looking for something obviously on par with what my mic sounds like. I've mentioned this before, and that's really all I'm looking for, is the dedication and the quality. So if you have those, I'll be glad to hear from you. Alright guys, I think that's going to do it for this video. Though, like I said before, the open casting call, in my opinion, was a huge success. So now that we have at least a preliminary list of people, I'm hoping that this one will start to bring in not only more people, but to kind of refine that original list I have of people that I know I can depend on and that really want to be a part of this. As before, I'm going to be crediting everybody for the roles they're playing. There's going to be names, so if you do get a role, please let me know what name you want to be under. And also links to everyone's channel. I want to network as much as possible. I want traffic to go to your pages. I want traffic to come from your pages to mine. Whatever we can do to make things better for all of us, to get more attention and show people that we can do this sort of professional quality work, all the better. So, having said all of that, I'll see you guys on the other side. Take care.